Alright guys, my name is Craig and I'm a massive Scottish geek and nerd when it comes to collectibles and things from films and, you know, replicas of things that I grew up watching and all that kind of stuff. And I thought today, for my very first ever review of some kind of collectible or replica or some kind of geeky thing ever that I've ever done on YouTube before, I thought I would start with something really special, and it's this. If I can set my phone down for just a second, you can tell how professional I am already. I thought I'd take a look at something really special. I was a massive fan of this. I'm even a fan of the new films as well, but that first film is part of my childhood, and it is this. It is the, I can barely even fit it on the screen. I don't know if you can see it all. It is the Jumanji 1:1 scale replica board by the Noble Collection, and this box is huge. You can see how big it is. I can barely even fit it on screen with me at the same time. But this is the box that it comes in. Really lovely box. You can see there some of the bits that comes with it, and it's the fact that it even comes with the actual tokens from the film as well. If you remember, they did bring out a Jumanji game, but I had these little dinky, weird plastic tokens that didn't look anything like this, which was a huge travesty. But this is near enough well, this is probably going to be the best replica, officially licensed replica of this board game that you're gonna get anywhere. So let's have a look at it. So having taken it out of the box, this is what we get. This wonderful replication of the front of the board game. It looks so unbelievably nice. I was a wee bit worried with this being made of plastic, and don't get me wrong, on video it looks much shinier than it actually is in real life, but it's actually really kind of matte. You've got these little flecks all the way through it, but they're not. I was a wee bit worried that that was going to make it look cheap, but it's really nice. It really gives this kind of worn wood kind of look to it without it actually being made of wood. Really beautiful. Front of the box is just wonderful. All these little sculpted details. This feels like a softer plastic to the kind of more rubbery plastic than the plastic used on the actual frame of the box. But this is just so wonderful, so amazing. You've got the nice big Jumanji logo at the front there. It's awesome. And twisting the box round and opening this up, you can see the wonderfully detailed interior of the box itself. Opens up the same way as it does in the film. Just absolutely stunning, man. I love the fact that the surface of the game, the actual board itself, is sculpted on. This isn't just painted on. You can actually see that it is sculpted. You've got these little sculpted boxes going all the way around the wee trails. This obviously is movable. The reason why this can be moved and taken off, it doesn't clip in or anything like that. It just kind of sits on, which is a little bit of a shame. But the reason why this is able to be removed is so that the Noble Collections have actually put a little bit of work into this, into making it an actual playable game. So it's not just a replica. This is actually something you can sit down, play with your family and friends, and at the end of the day, you've also still got this really wonderful, amazing, accurate, well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but, you know, as good to screen accurate as you're going to get from an officially licensed product. Removing the dome here, you can see that there's this nice Jumanji lettering, and it's actually in this kind of gold, kind of foily material, so it's kind of, you can see how it reflects the light, and that's actually quite nice, because it means although this doesn't light up, which is a shame, they did a miniature version of this which did light up and did have sounds. This doesn't. It doesn't have either of those things, which I think is a little bit of a missed opportunity. But for a board at this price, adding lights and sounds would probably have taken the price of it up. But to kind of accommodate for that, they've printed the word Jumanji in this gold reflective writing, so when you put this on, it catches the light and it just kind of makes it look as if it's glowing from the inside, and you can see You get this really nice, cool effect of the Jumanji letters, almost as if they're kind of appearing in front of your eyes. It's really quite nice. It's a nice effect. You can see how bright it is when it catches that light. I mean, there's no light in this room. That's just the sunlight from outside, and it's really helping to kind of, you know, convey that, you know, the letters kind of swirling and coming together. It's a little bit of a shame the fact that they felt they had to put in this TM. That's really unfortunate. But, you know, you can't really see it too badly or, you know, too much, so it doesn't kind of detract from the overall look too much. On either side of the game itself, you see you have the nice kind of instructions for playing the game. So it says Jumanji, a game for those who seek to find a way to leave their world behind. You roll the dice, you move your token, double gets another turn, the first player to reach the end wins. And then obviously on the other side it's upside down, but it says adventurers beware, do not begin unless you intend to finish. The exciting consequences of the game will vanish only when a player has reached Jumanji and called out its name. I'm actually quite impressed the fact I managed to read that upside down. Then, of course, on either side of the doors of the game, you get, of course, the little compartments. This is like a little, you're supposed to get your fingernail under there and push this up, but it has this little lip on the other side. You can see how my fingers are going underneath it, and that's just like the film, and you can just press on that and that pushes it up. And then, of course, obviously, you have the actual game tokens themselves, and we'll get to those in just a little minute or two. You can see how this is connected with magnets, so that it just clips down and holds them in place rather quite nicely. Of course, on the other side, this is where your dice is kept. I've still got mine in the little plastic bag. I don't see the harm in kind of keeping them in that. I might remove them from that, I don't know. But you've got the two little plastic dice, and then you've got the actual little game dice that they give you, so that you can actually turn this into a playable game. So you would use that along with the normal dice. So I've got the game pieces here, the little game tokens set out as they, you know, well, as they appear in the film. Really nice detailing on these little guys. You can see that the rhino has that same kind of pitted texture as the film does. I don't know how clear it is on the camera. You can see a little bit there on the back of the rhino, but it's got like this kind of ivory colour with a little bit of white showing through in some places. Could be a little bit dirtier looking. This is rather quite clean, but otherwise really nice, accurate sculpt, especially with the little texture marks there, in accordance with what we saw in the film. And of course you have Alan Parish's piece. This was Robin Williams' character in the film. He is the elephant character, elephant token, excuse me. It's a much lighter colour than it is in the film, as you can see. Nice kind of wash to help bring out some of these kind of sculpted details and things, but it could be a wee bit darker, because in the film it was kind of more of a kind of shiny graphite colour, whereas with this is a kind of lighter grey, but still really nice, accurate looking sculpt at least. And I dare say that if you were kind of up for the challenge of kind of customising your pieces to look a wee bit screen accurate, you could do that. And that's actually potentially something I plan on doing myself. Next we have Kirsten Dunst's character. There's either Judy. I forget her name, if it was Julie or Judy. I'm pretty sure it was Judy. And this is just casting this kind of black plastic. This is a crocodile. Nice sculpt on the little tail at the back there. That's really nice. Yeah. We have Peter's little monkey token. Looking really nice. It's casting this kind of darker green colour than what was seen in the film. In the film it was kind of, I think it was almost like it was made out of jade or something, and because it had this kind of see-through quality, it was a wee bit lighter in tone than this. But again, you know, I dare say that a little light wash of paint or something like that on there, light green colour, would kind of help, you know, bring out those details a wee bit better and just kind of make that look a wee bit more screen accurate. That is, of course, unless you are able to cast this and then cast it in a transparent green, but I won't be going as far as that myself. But really, really nice sculpt on this little monkey. Now, there are a few small issues with this replica board which stops it from being perfect. You're never going to get something that's 100% accurate to a screen used prop without it being the actual prop itself. So the most you can ever aim for is about 98-99%. I'd say this is a solid attempt, and it gets us about 95% of the way there. But there are a few small things which, if changed, could turn this from being, you know, 95% accurate to being damn near pretty much on the ball. Small details being these two stickers on either side. This should be on, well, actually this is the correct side. So this should be here, and this bit should be here. So these need to be flipped around, which, without you potentially damaging these stickers, I don't know how you would fix that. That's going to be an interesting problem for me to try and fix when I try and upgrade my board. Another small inconsistency is these grooves here. In the film, these point the same way as these ones. So these teeth should be pointing out this way, but they're not, they're pointing in the way. I've heard a few people say that this is to help close the gap in the boards, to try and, you know, kind of help the two halves meet flush with this part here. I don't necessarily think that's entirely accurate, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm quite happy to leave that like that. I will not be taking a Dremel to this thing, but you know, it's one of those things that if you're looking for something that's 100% or 99% accurate, you're going to have to be prepared to do something about this. One of the most disappointing aspects of this board for me is the fact that it doesn't come with lights and sounds. The Noble Collection done a much smaller version of this very same board with lights and sounds, and when I knew that they were going to be making this 1:1 scale replica, I thought that was almost a given that they were going to put lights and sounds in it. So the fact that it doesn't come with lights and sounds is disappointing. Another thing that's slightly disappointing is the fact that these aren't magnetised. I'm not looking for the whole board to be magnetised, but if you were able to recreate that point where, you know, the kind of, you drop the tokens and the tokens kind of skitter into their corners, how amazing would that be? You'd be recreating the movie magic of these pieces moving on their own. The addition of magnets seems like such a trivial thing, but I think that was just such a small thing which, had they done it, would have just taken this from an 8 and turned it right up to 11 for me. Like, if I had been able to just take these out and just throw each piece into its corner and it would go into its corner, you know, that not only is it a prop that is, you know, fairly accurate to the movie piece, but you're then also getting to recreate a moment from the film with your replica. That's what I want. That's what I want to be able to do. And that's potentially what I'm going to try to do with my piece when I upgrade my kit. For the moment though, as it stands, just out of the box, without any meddling from myself, this thing is amazing. Another thing I just wanted to focus on was the front of the board. You'll see it has obviously the really nice iconic look to the front. Really clean looking. In fact, that's maybe one of the few nitpicks I have as well, is the fact that this is quite clean looking. Because remember, in the film it was buried for hundreds of years, and then Alan obviously found it in the construction site. So they've got a wee bit of nice kind of weathering here, but then it just kind of stops there. These words are really kind of bright white, and it would be nice to have a wee bit of a kind of wash in here just to dirty this up and make this look a wee bit dirtier and grimier. Really nice detailing on each of these wee segments here. You see you've got the rhino, over on the other side you've got the elephant, at the top you've got the monkey, and then over here you have Van Pelt. Slight inaccuracy here with Van Pelt as well, in the fact that this is white instead of black. I didn't know that until after I'd bought this, so unless you're a super, you know, diehard fan, you know, you can just ignore that, but that probably will be something I've fixed just on mine, just because now that I know that this should be black, I'm going to look at this and know that it should be black and see that it's white, and it's going to annoy me. It would have been nice if they'd carried this wood texture. You see it's got this really nice grain effect across here. Would have been nice if they'd carried that along to here. You can see there is a little bit of a kind of texture on here because of the material. But it would have been nice if they could have carried that wooden grain along here, just to kind of, you know, really sell the fact that this was, you know, made out of wood as opposed to this kind of, you know, plastic material. But it's a small thing, it's not a huge problem. Now, as mentioned earlier on in the video, the Noble Collections have gone an extra step in making this a playable game. Now, we have obviously had versions of a playable Jumanji game in the past, but never to this level. Never to the extent where it's looked like the game that was in the film. So when you open this up, obviously, you get everything that I've showed you already. The dice, the board, the tokens, the little centre eye piece here. You know, all that kind of stuff. The stuff that you would need to show it off as a static prop replica, right? But if you want to go a step further, and if you want to play Jumanji, then that's when you would use the enclosed instructions that Noble Collections have given you. Really easy to follow these instructions, actually. I'm actually going to have a shot at this tonight with my wife. Really looking forward to that. Wonder if we'll get stuck in Jumanji or if we'll cause any stampedes. Who knows? My wife might get me to play it outside rather than indoors, and then that way we don't get a stampede on our nice new carpets. The other thing I meant to mention as well is that when you open up the box, you get this really wonderful kind of little pouch. It's made of this kind of green velvety stuff, much like the inside of the actual centre of the game itself. It's nice kind of green velvet bag, and again it's got that kind of metallic gold, silvery, you know, kind of reflective writing on the front of the pouch there as well. Little drawstring bag, so when you open it up, you get obviously your life cards. So whenever you start a game, you get 3 of these, and then as you go around, you lose lives or you gain lives. It makes it that wee bit more interesting. And then you have the actual Jumanji cards. Now, the Jumanji cards, this is the reason why the centerpiece of the board game is removable, because the idea is that you have that for display, and then when you're actually playing the game, you remove this, and then you actually put these in the middle. So if I quickly open these up here for you, and the cool thing is that not only have they recreated the ones from the film, so you can see here, this one's for vines, and it says here, they grow much faster than bamboo, take care or they'll come after you. And it says there, obviously, move 5 steps or move 5 spaces. And the idea is that when you get this card, you need to roll the dice, and if the dice exceeds the number at the top, then you get to move this number of spaces. However, if you match it, or if your number is less than the dice up the top of the card, then you go back that many spaces. So the stakes, it raises the stakes a wee bit. And the cool thing is, on the back of these cards, you can see it's got that nice kind of swirly Jumanji logo. So what I actually discovered you can do is place this in the middle of your game, put your little green piece back, and then recreate the swirly twirly kind of title of the game. I think that looks well cool. The really nice thing that Noble Collections have done as well is not only have they done like other ones from the film, like the mosquitoes, earthquake, but they've also introduced new elements to the game, like panther. That wasn't something we saw in the film before. You've obviously got the spiders, spiders again. You've also got the bats, mosquitoes, snakes. This again was something that we didn't have in Jumanji, but now that you say it out loud, it's as if they should have been there all the time, right? You've also got monkeys, lion again, the bird. We never had a bird before, but we've got bird now. There's also rhino, which obviously was in the film, but part of the stampede. It wasn't something on its own, but we've got rhino. Vines, stampede, quicksand, again from the film. But then we've also got, I think it's, cheetahs, crocodile, and hippo. So these are all these different cards, and again, similar thing applies. You get the little kind of dice number at the top. You need to exceed that number in order to actually take your spaces, or if you fail, match it. Or if you fail exceeding the dice number, the dice total at the top of the card, then you move back that many spaces. So helps raise the stakes, makes it that wee bit more desperate, and just really introduces a really fun element to the game. Also included within the Jumanji cards are 2 trap cards. Trap cards are these 2. You have a hunter card and you have the jungle card. Now, if you pull the jungle card, you're going to be doing an Alan Parish, because you're going to be stuck in the jungle until a player rolls a 5 or an 8. And when that happens, you use one of these little jungle tiles here, these little leafy tiles. You get 4 of these. And the idea is that if you get stuck, so say for example I was here, and obviously I've got my little piece there, and if I get stuck in the jungle, I pull the Jumanji card, and it says here, jungle, place jungle trap under token, take no actions until another player's total roll equal 5 or 8, and then you're freed, then discard the trap. A little bit unfortunate the fact that it doesn't kind of say in the jungle you must wait until a player rolls 5 or 8. I thought that would have been fairly self-explanatory. That seems like a little bit of a missed opportunity, but it is what it is. So then you would use your little token here and place that underneath your piece, and that's kind of representing your piece being stuck in the jungle until someone rolls a 5 or an 8. Another interesting element of the game, other than the jungle card, is of course the hunter card. So this would be you facing off against Van Pelt, right? Now again, the idea with this is it's similar to the danger cards. You have obviously your number of dice up the top here, which you need to exceed. So the number of this would be 5. So if I roll a 6, I avoid the hunter, and then that way this hunter token becomes a spear token, and I can use this spear token later on in the game to escape a hunter or to escape a jungle, according to the rules anyway. Yeah, so this is a cool little mechanic, this token thing. One of the things that might actually make this hunter card really formidable when you're playing is the fact that if you don't exceed the number, you lose one of your 3 lives. And then when it comes back to your turn, you need to repeat the process until you exceed this number or until you've lost all your lives. So if you lose all your lives, you're out the game. If you try to beat 5 and you get on all 3 of your turns, 4 or whatever, and don't exceed this, then you're in trouble. Having a quick look at the life cards as well, there are these kind of rectangular black cards you can see, and there's a good number of them there. These are really cool, these little cards, because I like the fact that this kind of incorporates the new films, because this is the same kind of tattoo that they have on their arms in the new films. So it's kind of nice that they've kind of blended the 2 worlds together so that you have the Jumanji game, but then you also have your 3 lives like the new Jumanji movies, Welcome to the Jungle and The Next Level. Again, these little cards can be used to your advantage in the game, so you can use, like, this says here total dice, so you can add another 1 onto your roll, or you can add an extra 3 onto your roll, an extra 2 onto your roll, things like this is a really cool one. Again, this just helps with that blending of the 2 films together. This is give 1 life to a player. So if you have this in your 3 cards and your pal is out of life or something and is out the game, you can give this to them and they can start playing again. But you can only do that if you have this card, which is kind of cool. So, I mean, even these little elements and the kind of the mechanics that they've introduced to actually make this a playable game as well as a replica, and the fact that this is £130 with free postage and packaging, I think is spectacular, considering the fact that to buy a real wooden, 100% accurate Jumanji game, you're looking at about £600. This is crazy to me. I am so over the moon with this. I've been tracking this furiously over the past few days, praying that it would come today, and it did. And I'm so happy. This is going to make lockdown a lot easier, because I'm kind of feeling like I'm stuck in the jungle. Only this time I'm stuck in the house. I'm just waiting for someone to roll that 5 or an 8 and let me free. So in conclusion, guys, if you loved Jumanji as a kid growing up, if you have always wanted this board game in this style, then when, if not now, do you deserve to treat yourself to this? Because this is spectacular. I do not regret getting this at all. I love this. So if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below if there's anything that I forgot to mention or anything you're not too sure of. And please also hit the subscribe button as well, because I plan on doing videos in the future on how I upgrade mine, so that if you do end up getting this yourself, you can follow along with me and upgrade your kits, and we can work on it together, and we can make our boards as accurate as we can get them. And just take this from a 10 right up to an 11. Otherwise though, thanks very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Here we go. In the jungle you must wait until the dice roll 5 or 8. No!